Hey gang, what a day, what a week, what a month, and the month just started. Hi, my name is Sherry Oliver. This is a family topics, personal development, who knows what's in this Enneagram 9 Gemini's head, kind of a channel. And you can scroll back and see all of the random iterations that this channel has had, but it's been around for a little while and has put out very little content. But I really like to film. I had another channel previously, and I filmed a lot over the last few years, and most of it is sitting on the computer that has the editing software but is old and needs to be replaced. And so I end up, in times of stress, in times of excitement, getting on and filming, and sometimes it makes it to YouTube and sometimes it doesn't. And the world is crazy right now. I feel like every day is a new day. Every day is a new, where did normal go? Because there's just never normal. Every time I think I get my feet settled a little bit, it changes again. And I've tried, and I have talked a little bit here, but most of that footage is just discombobulated and crazy, and it's also me trying to pick up the camera and find a second to talk when there is no second. A lot of my time is overwhelmed with overwhelm, and I end up with this a lot at night where I can't sleep. It's like it's 10 after 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? It's after 1 a.m. Do you know where your wife, mom is? They don't know. They're asleep. I'm awake. I don't sleep well. Maybe you don't either. And I keep trying to wrap my head around how I can help and the things that I want to share and the stuff I want to do, and it's overwhelming because there's so much to talk about and so many things to work through. So this isn't going to be a very well thought out video. It's probably going to be a ramble, but I need it, and maybe something I say will help you. But I'm tired of trying to figure it out and trying to say little pieces of things. I just needed to sit down for as long as it takes and get some of this out. And as is usual, this is one day out of many days of crazy, and one situation of me sitting here talking to you and thinking. So I am in no way saying this is the only thing to think or the only thing I am thinking. This is just the things that have been weighing on me. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about. That was a great intro. Let's start the video. Okay, so just for reference, it is the very beginning of April, the 3rd or the 4th. It's a Friday. I don't remember. You can look at the calendar. But I live in Arkansas, specifically the top left northwest Arkansas corner of Arkansas, and we are somewhere in the middle as far as where this is hitting us currently, as far as our whole country goes. You know, the world's, that's a whole other conversation. I'm not gonna go there. But for context, we are in the schools are closed just like everywhere else. Most of the non-essential things have either been mandatory closed or have closed out of safety precautions. A lot of small businesses are struggling. The small business I work for is trying to work through what we can keep doing. And I work part-time in an office with 2 other people basically. And I'm doing most of that, pretty much all of that, remotely now. And my virtual assistant job is already remote, and my 4-year-old is home all day. So I'm having the same trouble everyone else is having of trying to be all the things all at once every day, all freaking day. And it's hard. My husband happens to have a job that is under the essential bracket, and so he's still going to work full-time with precautions, and that's the life we're living right now, just like everybody else. So just for context, that's where we are. A lot of the things I think about are in the what is good for us as humans to keep going and to continue to live our life while also trying to be safe and feel like we're still moving forward and growing when most of the things that we used to kind of feel like we were moving have come to a halt. My son has severe asthma, along with some sensory processing behavior things that we're in the very early stages of getting a handle on. And so we started self-isolating the day that the schools closed. Even though his daycare was still open, I pulled him out because this is no joke. And as much as we are able, since like I know that every situation is different, for me that day when the schools closed and the daycare didn't, I work from home most of the time. I have the ability with the small business that I was working for in person to, it's a small family business. I was able to make some adjustments there. And so we were able to make the decision to pull him out and him stay with me. That is a huge blessing and a privilege that we are very thankful to have. And it's hard. It's freaking hard. Trying to continue to keep up with my work and entertain a 4-year-old who needs constant supervision is overwhelming and stressful. And I feel this urge to sit in front of a camera, to get on social media, to write things down, and to share all of these resources and all of these things that are helping me, that are at least, you know, kind of helping me moderate my emotions and my feelings as I'm handling all of this. I am a very introverted person as far as my day-to-day life, and so if I didn't have a toddler to keep me up and moving, I would probably be more emotional than I am outwardly, and I would also probably just sit in bed and read all day. I probably wouldn't do much, and that sounds nice to me right now, but I know that that would be really hard if there was no end to that. So as much as I think that there are ways that I would like to be coping, those wouldn't last long and they're not an option for me. I spend a lot of time managing and moderating and keeping up with my child while trying to work. And in the midst of that, I am checking social media, I am checking in with people, I like being on there and showing what we're dealing with and how we're coping and what I'm seeing on the internet that is good. Because right now, for me, as someone who likes to make content, who likes to share content, who does content for work, I see the good in the internet, and this is a great time for the internet to rise up, for social content creators, all of those people. And I see a lot of them rising up, offering free things, offering extra things, even just like a Christian author reading to kids every night. There are so many things that are just happening on the internet that's good. And so my instinct is to share those things and talk about them and try to spread the message of all of these good tools as much as I can. But that's overwhelming for some people. Some people are in a position of overwhelmed just trying to keep their kids up with their school. There are so many layers to this. And so I, as the Enneagram 9 who wants there to be peace, I have all these things that I want to shout from the rooftops, but then I'm like, but if it's not for you, or but if that's not your thing, or but if you have other things to worry about, then I get all like down and maybe I should, how much do I, it makes me crazy, because this is the thing that I'm learning about myself as I'm self-isolating. Today is day 19. Is I actually do need to talk to people. I do need to at least listen and be around humans, even though I'm not the one talking most of the time. And so as I'm trying to share these things, I get rambly and I get lost in my head because I don't have another human on a bi-weekly basis. I'm not in a conversation where another adult is adding to it and I'm feeling like there's some resolution. And so as much as I am trying to talk to the camera or trying to put things out, it's like I feel like I've never explained it enough, because I'm not getting even just the conversational, oh that's interesting, or oh that makes it, like how a conversation would roll. And so I'm all bogged down by all these things I want to share. And so my intention in sitting here tonight was to say it, even if it doesn't make sense, even if I've already gone 10 minutes and I'm gonna have to pause and let my camera do its thing and then turn it back on because it has a limit that I don't know how to change because I don't do this every day. I want to talk about that kind of stuff. So at this point, my hope is I have two things that I think I'm going to try to do. One of them is give you some timestamps. So assuming I have made it through the process of editing on my poor old computer, here are some timestamps for when different topics will be on there that may be relevant to you. Skip what you don't need, eat the fish, spit out the bones, kind of thing. 2, below there will be access to some resource pages that I made previously, like last month, that have different free things and stuff that's all over the internet that people are trying to use to help each other survive this at home. Those of us who are at home, and that's the world we live in, there are lots of people on the internet trying to put good things out there, give some, even just like a few of the things that they offer paid for free to help everyone. So that's my 2 goals in the rest of the time that I sit here. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you the 4 things max that I keep coming back to as being things that are helping me, because I think as much as I wish I could talk to you for an hour about my opinion on how we hold faith and cautionary action hand in hand, and how we hold informedness, I have lost the ability to human. As much as I think we should hold informed y'all, I need to Zoom again with somebody. I am not okay right now. And it's like the awareness that I'm not okay is almost worse than the little things I'm doing that show that I'm not okay. You know what that's about? Anybody else feel me? Okay, so what I'm saying is, in my opinion, you do everything you can to be as cautious as possible, follow the CDC guidelines, but also know we're not in control. Guess what? If you didn't know by now, ain't nobody in control. And the second thing is be informed, get the right information, but avoid the narrative and the opinion and the slant as much as you can. Those are my 2, like, here's the things we're holding as far as this thing. The other, I'm not gonna rant, but here's the thing is, no matter what time frame you're hearing out there, no matter what time frame people are saying, we're gonna reevaluate at this date, we're gonna look at it again at this date, just double it. The people who are like really digging into the time frame and are looking at years, I think that's a little overkill, but as we're seeing this weeks turn into months thing, just double it. I had a friend yesterday tell me that, like, for her kids and her system and locking it down, she was just like, we're not doing anything outside of this house, like, forget all the plans, life is this until July 4th. Now for her and her household, it was like, hey, if we get done before then, hallelujah. If for some reason it goes farther, it's far enough out that you can reassess and it not be the end of the world. Because for kids, for teenagers, for whatever, like, looking at this again every month, like trying, like putting that date in the heads, like this is when it's going to end, that may not be healthy and it may not be beneficial. For me personally, I think that it's never going to be the same. I am about to get a little doomsy in how I view this and where my opinion changed as far as hard truth. So this is my 2 cents. Skip 2 minutes ahead if you don't want it. Whenever we were talking about weeks, I assumed it would be months, because if you flatten the curve, then it takes longer because you're pushing the curve down and flattening the, the same amount of people are going to get sick, but if it's at a lower rate, it takes longer. But also, as the virus moves through the world and it doesn't hit certain people and then it comes back in the winter, all of those things, my thought about church and about other organizations and people I spend time with is, I was thinking about how amazing, like, I want to hug every single person in that room when I get back in a room full of people, but I probably won't be able to, because the world will be different whenever we get back to functioning society. the way that we interact with people that we know, the way we interact with people we don't know, the way that we do or do not see the bubble around us, and our personal safety is not going to be the same as it was before this pandemic. You can't walk through this and come out the way you were before you walked in. It's not possible. So you may not hug as many people as you would socially if you're a hugger. You may not want to let your kid go to a party of 15 other kids if they have a respiratory issue. Everything is going to be different, and we're all going to walk that differently and have different views of what safe looks like today and 2, 3, 4 months from now. So that's okay. Mourn that if you have to. I'm sorry if that's heavy and you didn't even think that far ahead. But literally the day that I thought about being in a room with my fellowship people and doing CR again in the place where we usually do it, I wanted to cry thinking about, like, I'd literally want to hug everyone in that room, and that I don't usually do that. And I immediately had that sinking feeling of, like, it's not going to look like that. It's just not. Now, for me, that's really hard. But thinking about that now, I can stretch out that idea and figure out what is safe for me. What do I think I'll be able to do? Because that faith versus cautionariness is, at some point, I'm going to trust God and hug my mom. The first couple of weeks, we just did like low 5 with our feet because my son has a respiratory issue and has asthma, and my parents are still working, and so they're with the public, we're not. And so when we met to like go walk, it was just, hey, we're not going to get too close. But if I'm looking at that for another 4 to 6 to 8 weeks and something happens and someone gets hurt, I'm not going to have to try to think about the last time I hugged my mom and how long ago was that. I'm not doing it. And I know some people very seriously stay home, don't touch people that don't live in your house. Yes, I literally haven't been inside a store in over 2 weeks. We're doing everything we can to buy a little bit more to go longer in between visits, and only one of us is going because my son really does have a sensitivity to this kind of illness. I don't want him to get it. I don't want it to get into our house. But I'm not gonna go until my birthday without hugging my mom. I'm not gonna do it. All we're guaranteed is right now is today. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have that on me. I'm not gonna do it. And that is super personal. And some of you are gonna think I'm being dramatic, and some of you are gonna think, too bad, you need to save the whole community. All of that. That's okay. We don't have to have the exact same view. We probably won't, because we've never done this before. And that's just life. Everything is new, and that's okay. And I'm not usually one to say things vehemently, but this is making me really decide what I think and take a stand and stand behind what I've decided to do for me, and that's where we've landed. And that's hard and scary. So I don't want you to feel like you have to be there or you have to know how you feel about that specific thing, let alone anything else. But I hope that you're starting to think about, what does this look like if we do this for a month? What does it look like if we do this for 3 months? Because me making decisions on what's safe for my son for a 2-week stint is different than what I choose is reasonable for us to do for a whole month. It's just different. And that's pretty much most of this video, is the soapbox that I just went on. Once again, this is not, there's no map for this. There's just not. And so that's kind of where I sit on how we're walking through preparedness and caution. And I think maybe that's why I focus so much on trying to share stuff from Mel Robbins or Brene Brown or Rachel Hollis or Jenny Allen. Those are my 4 pillar people. Those are the people I go back to when I'm lost, whenever I'm steady and I'm trying to grow. I look at them. When I'm lost right now, I'm looking at them, because I know those 4 women have niches, whichever you want to say that word, that they spend a lot of time thinking about, that they have either, regardless of how they got there, they have experience, they have the 10,000 hours to speak on those things. I 100% believe that. And so those are the women I go to. I'll put a link for how I got there and which woman goes with which part of like what I look at, but those are my go-tos. And a lot of what they're saying is this, like, it's okay to feel this way, but we're not going to sit in it. We're going to keep going. We're going to take a deep breath, rest when we need to, but don't rest so long that you end up down in the slump. We're not doing it. We have to keep moving forward. Our life is still happening. No matter how we get there and what it looks like, we're going to get to the other side of this, and we're going to have to figure out whether it was worth it. Like, what did you do during COVID? What did you do the last 3 months? Now, that may be, I did not murder anyone who lives in my house, because I tell you what, I love me some people, and I love that I actually have people to be with every day, but the social distancing is causing me to really, really, really root for a family distancing season. I need a little bit of space. And so that's okay. Totally normal to feel that way. All of a sudden, we're not getting the same things we were getting. And so I'm really leaning on those women and other resources for just like, how do we take the next right step? How do we take the next right step? And so I'll leave links below, as much detail as I can give you, of the things that I think help and some of the things that those women are sharing. If I can sum it all up, because I can't tell you all the things that I think about this, especially after I got lost on the soapbox of, I'm not gonna live in a hovel where I only talk to one person I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out how to sit the chat up in front of my kid and let him talk to Nana for a little while I do dishes. I'm going to get on Zoom and talk for 3 minutes about the things that are hard in my life. I'm going to find ways to keep doing the next thing, to keep living. And I hope that you do too. And so the thing that I think I want to convey the most is, don't think that you can keep going past where you are with what you had before. Like, whether you had a great life and you were killing it, or you were really struggling in anxiety, or you were really struggling in your marriage, or you were really struggling with your health, I don't care what it is. What got you here is not going to get you to the next thing. And so you have to. You are the gift of your life comes at the cost of figuring out how to live in this new life, because it is new. Look up the resources, figure out what works. Every day, write down the things that you are grateful for. I 100% believe that that is a huge thing in me, that just remembering yesterday Dominic did this really sweet thing amid all of the other hard things. Yesterday I got to sit and have a full cup of coffee while it was still warm. Just enjoy those little things, and look to the people that you can find in your real life, on the internet, I don't care where, who are encouraging you to keep going. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever you need. It may not be the resources I leave below, but don't sit where you are and think it's going to get you to the next thing, because it's not. No matter what, if we are lucky, if we are blessed by God to be alive on the other side of this, because unfortunately that's not guaranteed for any of us any day, on a normal day with life and the way it is, on top of all the things we're dealing with. If we are blessed, like, just assume you're not promised to tomorrow, but you're probably going to make it to the other side of this. What do you want to be able to say that you did during this season? What do you want to be able to say to your kids, to your grandkids, that you did to survive this? Now, as is usual, that can go right into, that's so much heavy. I'm just trying to survive today. Fine, survive today. But somewhere in that space, and I am telling you without telling you all the details, that is minuscule for me. That is 1 o'clock in the morning for me. Find a little bit of space to just breathe and figure out what worked today and what didn't work to try tomorrow. If you do that day in and day out, as we sit here at home, someday you're gonna get to the point and be able to say, that actually started to work, or why the heck did I do that? And you're gonna see those little steps. If you let yourself get stuck in Netflix for too long, or sleep for too long, or zoning out for too long, then all of a sudden you'll have survived the 30 days and you'll have no idea what happened or what you did. We're gonna have to do a little more intentionality. It's going to take everything in us to get to the next thing. It's gonna take new things. So look for those things. Don't give up. I know that you want to. I want to. And at least once a day, I give up for a little while. I say forget it. I let the TV keep going, and I watch more YouTube than I should. But that's not all day. Don't let it be all day. Okay? I'm gonna try to come back and try to say more and try to not delete this, because heaven forbid someone gets frustrated or has a different opinion than me. That's okay. Just keep trying. Just keep living. And we'll get to the other side. We will.